नमस्कार दोस्तों, मैं नितेश बिंदल आपका मेरे यूट्यूब चैनल लीगल चैप्टर में हार्दिक स्वागत करता हूं। आज हम सोशल ऑडिटर के चैप्टर 7 सोशल इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट में डिस्कशन करेंगे। सोशल इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट में क्या हम पढ़ेंगे वो आपके साथ डिस्कस करते हैं। सोशल इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट अप्रोचेस, स्टेप्स, गाइडलाइंस, टूल्स एंड इम्पोर्टेंस, डिफरेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन मॉडल ऑफ सोशल इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट, एस्पेक्ट रिलेटेड टू सोशल इम्पैक्ट रिपोर्टिंग। सोशल इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट है क्या, हम साथ में साथ डिस्कस करते रहेंगे कि पॉइंट पेपर में किस तरीके से पूछते हैं, तो उसको हम हाईलाइट करेंगे, थोड़ा सा उसको कंसीडर करते हुए पढ़ेंगे। सोशल इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट इज अ प्रोसेस ऑफ रिसर्च, प्लानिंग एंड मैनेजमेंट ऑफ सोशल चेंज और कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस पॉजिटिव भी हो सकते हैं, नेगेटिव, इंटेंटेड, अनइंटेंटेड, अराइजिंग फ्रॉम पॉलिसीज, प्लान्स, डेवलपमेंट एंड प्रोजेक्ट्स. It is a process of assessing direct impact, indirect impact, unintended, intended, positive, and negative consequences of social interventions. It is a powerful tool for implementing organization to take necessary steps to enhance potential positive impact and contain potential adverse impact. It helps decision maker to understand the benefit gained against the investment made in the project and also help in reducing the cost. तो फर्स्ट 3 लाइन्स है, उससे क्वेश्चन बन सकता है हमारा। देन concept of social impact assessment gained formal recognition with us National Intervention Policy NEPA 1916, which included social elements in the environmental impact studies. Social impact assessment concept evolved over a period of time and gained global importance with a lot of international standard incorporating it is a crucial concept. Steps in conducted social impact assessment. OAMVM. Social impact assessment is a process of analyzing, monitoring, managing social changes in a society as a result of organizational social intervention. Following are the steps for conducting social impact assessment. Setting objective, like define the scope of social impact analysis, level and desired social change to be achieved. क्वेश्चन आ सकता है कि क्या क्या हमारे स्टेप्स हैं, चार कुछ दे देंगे, उसमें से बताएंगे ये ऑब्जेक्ट है या नहीं है, या उन्होंने ये जो ऑब्जेक्ट बता दिया इसके अलावा कोई ऑब्जेक्ट बता दिया और उसे कंसीडर कर लिया कि ये ऑब्जेक्ट में है या नहीं है, तो यस और नो, पॉजिटिव तरीके से भी आ सकता है क्वेश्चन और नेगेटिव भी आ सकता है। सेकेंड, एनालाइजिंग स्टेक होल्डर्स, identifying potential stakeholders we need to be involved to process, measuring, setting relevant parameters by which social enterprise will plan its intervention and how the activity achieve the outcomes and impacts. Identifying measurement tools, measuring the targets, outcomes and impact. Next है verify and value impact. Verifying that the logical implications are strong enough and that the impact is valued by the key stakeholders. Monitoring and reporting, integrating this information to the information of the management system and reporting data to relevant stakeholders. अब मैंने जैसे आपको बताया कि क्वेश्चन हमारे पास कहीं से भी आ सकता है, तो ये 4 पॉइंट्स हैं, इन 4 पॉइंट्स में से क्वेश्चन पूछ सकता है। जैसे स्टेप्स क्या क्या होंगे, सेटिंग ऑब्जेक्टिव, एनालाइजिंग स्टेक होल्डर्स, measuring parameters which is set, verifying and valuing impact. Next है हमारा approach to social impact assessment. It is a crucial concept aspect to verify whether an organization social mission has been achieved. The steps mentioned above are based on a common framework that can be used for social impact assessment, but there are different social impact assessment methodology and tools that have been designed by academics, impact investors, and practitioners. These methodologies and tools are based on three approaches: क्वालिटेटिव अप्रोच, क्वांटिटेटिव रिसर्च एंड मोनेटाइजेशन। क्वेश्चन यहाँ से पूछ सकते हैं, ये तीन अप्रोच हैं, इसके अलावा कोई चौथी अप्रोच डाल देंगे, क्या ये अप्रोच है? तो आपको उसका रिप्लाई उस हिसाब से देखना है, तो ये आप हाईलाइट कर सकते हैं पॉइंट। अप्रोच टू सोशल इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट। फर्स्ट क्वालिटेटिव अप्रोच, क्वांटिटेटिव अप्रोच, मोनेटाइजेशन, इनके स्ट्रेंथ, वीकनेस एंड मेथड्स दे रखे हैं। फर्स्ट है क्वालिटेटिव अप्रोच की स्ट्रेंथ। हम स्ट्रेंथ एक एक पॉइंट पढ़ेंगे, उसके बाद स्ट्रेंथ, वीकनेस एंड मेथड्स देखते हैं। सोशल इम्पैक्ट नेचर is qualitative. Thus, qualitative research helps to reveal the broader and in-depth effect of social mission. Weakness: high qualitative research also requires a great deal of effort. The systematic formulation of research design and the testing hypothesis that is directly related to the logical model, theory of change, structured interviews, focus group, case studies. क्वांटिटेटिव अप्रोच क्या है? पॉसिबल टू एनालाइज लार्ज अमाउंट्स ऑफ डाटा। क्वांटिटी का मतलब वो ज़्यादा, जितना ज़्यादा डाटा मिल जाएगा, एंड रिपोर्ट दोज डाटा इन न्यूमेरिकल फॉर्म। स्टेक होल्डर्स यूजुअली आर रिक्वेस्टिंग ऑफ क्वालिफिकेशन ऑफ रिजल्ट्स। वीकनेस: रिक्वायर्स नॉलेज ऑफ स्टैटिस्टिकल एंड मैथमेटिकल मेथड्स। मेथड क्या है? सर्वे, स्टैटिस्टिकल डाटा analysis, monetization. Next है, it helps to express social benefit in monetary terms and make them understandable to the other stakeholders as investors, founders. Monetary value allows to compare very diverse social enterprises. Weakness क्या है? Focusing on an organization economic aspects can lead to a situation where there is a lack of information on the broader realization of social mission. It's difficult to monetize such human and social capital effects at the individual and community levels. तो मेथड क्या? SROI, social return on investment, cost benefit analysis. All three approaches have their own strengths and drawbacks, where qualitative research does in-depth study or of social impact. Quantitative approach helps in analyzing large amount of data, and monetization approach helps investor in understanding social impact in terms of monetary returns against the investment made. So the qualitative approach requires detailed analysis of qualitative indicators, which is a time-consuming method. Quantitative method and monetization approach are also criticized widely. Many social change indicators, like indicators of behavioral change, psychological change, are difficult to qualify or monetize. Secondly, the quantification approach only captures the number of beneficiaries impacted, which is very narrow approach to social impact. Hence, quantification of social impact and assigning monetary value of social impact lacks information on achievement of social mission. Hence, it is crucial to understand the objective of the organization to conduct social impact assessment and accordingly select appropriate methods and tools. There is no standard format or single tool that capture all aspects of social impact. It clearly depends on objective and interventions of the organizations. Importance of conducting social Importance of conducting social impact assessment for different stakeholders. Social interventions result in change for various stakeholders. It is a vital for the organization to understand intended and unintended as well as positive or negative impact on these stakeholders. This will help the organization to revise their interventions and implementation strategy and to make efficient use of resources. Importance and benefits of social impact assessment and its stakeholders is explained as below. It helps the management of the organization. First point हो गया मैनेजमेंट की क्या यूज करता है. It helps the management of the organization to understand where the projects are being conducted effectively and require any modification in project activity. It helps the management to understand whether the social intervention is resulting in any change amount to target group and communities at large. It helps the organization use the social impact assessment report as evidence to advocate their intervention and secure future funding. It helps donors investors to ensure timely and effective achievement of predetermined targets. It helps the management as well as other stakeholders to regularly monitor the ensure that the implementing team is adhering to stipulated timelines and budgets. It enables organizations to collect data that track successes and failures and help to build the strong help to build the strong and it helps the management as well as other stakeholders to regularly monitor and ensure that the implementing team is adhering to stipulated timelines and budgets. It enables organizations to collect data that track success and failures and help to build a strong data management system to understand trends and track long-term impact. Concrete evidence or impact can motivate internal as well as external stakeholders to contribute in future as well. Different organization models for structuring evaluation. यहाँ पे हम मॉडल्स पे डिस्कस करें 7.2 पॉइंट आ गया हमारा 7.2 में हमें मॉडल्स बता रखे हैं कि सोशल इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट में ऑर्गेनाइजेशन कौन कौन से मॉडल यूज़ करती है। तो फर्स्ट मॉडल है उसमें आउटसोर्सिंग मॉडल। आउटसोर्सिंग मॉडल क्या है? एक प्रोसेस है फॉर आइडेंटिफाई एंड रिपोर्टिंग वाइडर इफेक्ट्स ऑफ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन एक्टिविटी ऑन डिफरेंट स्टेक होल्डर्स एंड एनवायरमेंट. This process is time consuming as well as requires expertise in understanding the various terms in social impact like output impact and methodology of social impact assessment. Many times organizations do not have expertise and enough financial and human resources to develop internal social impact assessment system or carry out social impact assessment with internal staff. Social impact assessment methodology include perception of different stakeholders and internal stakeholders of organization that is employee, board members are also required to contribute to social impact assessment which can result in conflict of interest. In order to get unbiased and effective report, organization can refer in order In order to get unbiased and effective report, organization prefer to outsource social impact assessment process to external agencies. For instance, examples, the Development Monitoring Evaluation Office (NITI Aayog) is responsible to monitor and evaluate the scheme implemented by Government of India. Most of the DMEO carry out monitoring and impact evaluation internally, but on some occasions, it is outsourced to reputed external agencies. DMEO has set up a panel with expert agencies in six sectors. Six sectors mean agencies जैसे agriculture and ag sector, economic sector, infrastructure sector, social welfare sector, and their subsectors. External agencies for impact evaluation are selected from these subsectors through a competitive bidding process. However, outsourcing of social impact assessment has a few drawbacks such as smaller organizations, which are dependent on donations and grant, lack resources to hire external agencies for conducting social impact assessment. Social impact depends on social change covering a lot of qualitative aspects. Organizations implementing social intervention has more clarity and connection with the community and pre and post social intervention situation. It is possible that an external agency is not able to capture all the impact indicators which are crucial part of social impact assessment. नेक्स्ट मॉडल है हमारा पार्टनरशिप मॉडल. पार्टनरशिप मॉडल apart from contractual relationship, research and policy team can build mutually beneficial partnership. These partnerships can ensure that Interests of both the parties are combined, like researchers who are interested in conducting research on a policy question and policymakers, and program implementers who are seeking to ensure that a good quality impact evaluation is set up in their project. Researchers has incentive to address new questions that will add to the global evidence base and to push the envelope of social impact evaluation and contribute to its broader visibility. The research team may be able to leverage some co-financing for the impact evaluation if the objective of the funders are closely aligned with the research focus of the evaluation. The partnership approach presents certain risks. At times, innovative research elements covered by the researcher are not fully aligned to the immediate policy objective at the local level, although they can add value more globally. From the perspective of policymakers and program implementation, scientific rigor may not be required to undertake rigorous impact evaluation, and they may have a higher tolerance and than the research team which respect to potential risk to the impact evaluation. It is the crucial that the objective of the research team and policy team are closely aligned. For instance, the research and policy team need to design evaluation strategy together along with respective teams' roles and responsibilities. Laid down impact evaluation plan can describe operational rules along with potential risks. A mutual commitment to an impact evaluation as embodied in a clear evaluation plan is essential for partnership to work smoothly, even if a contractual relation is not put in a place. However, written agreement is always preferred to have clarity on the roles and responsibility of the both the parties. This model is being used by World Bank in their projects where groups like DIME, SIEF, and GIL provide funding and technical support to impact evaluation. For instance, in Cote d'Ivoire, a joint initiative between the World Bank, the Abdul Latif Jamil Poverty Action Lab, and the government evaluated a youth employment and skill development project. This research team presented partnership between various stakeholders like World Bank team leader, international academics, and local experts, and a policy team specialist, including specialists from the project implementing unit, the affiliated ministry, and the World Bank staff. Next model is fully integrated model. Integrated social impact assessment is an integrated part of a program where impact assessment is carried out on a regular basis and not at the end. Under integrated social impact assessment, procedural and organizational arrangement covering environmental, economic, and social indicators are incorporated to capture data at the similar point in time. दिस मतलब इस पॉइंट में जो फुल्ली इंटीग्रेटेड कह रहा है कि आपको ड्यूरिंग द प्रोसेस भी आपको चेक करना है. दिस कैन हेल्प द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन टू रिड्यूस inconsistencies in data and ensure that the interdependence among the varied impact indicators are captured. This model is usually used by social venture capital firm and impact investor to track regular process on their investment in social enterprise and ensure sustainability of those and social enterprise. For example, Acumen Fund has designed Barco ratio, best available charitable option ratio, for decision making on social enterprise investment. This ratio is used to identify viability of the investment based on financial leverage, technology leverage, and social impact. Another example is Robin Hood Foundation, an NPO from New York City, which provides ongoing grant to non-profit organizations working in the area jobs and economic security, education, early childhood and youth, and survival. Robin Hood developed its benefit cost ratio methodology to capture the best estimate of the collective benefit to poor individuals that Robin Hood grants create per dollar cost to the Robin Hood Foundation. This helps the foundation in translating the outcomes of diverse program into a modernized value. Single monetized value. When an organization integrates impact assessment as an internal tool, it has its own advantage and disadvantage as described in table 7.2. टेबल 7.2 में कुछ टेबल दे रखी है, उसको आप एक देखिए एक बार. Advantage, disadvantage of social impact assessment, method of integrated social impact assessment. फर्स्ट है एडवांटेज की बात करें. Social impact indicators are developed based on objective and interventions of the organizations. It provides benchmark to track progress of interventions. Comparable data is available from the time periods different projects. Impact assessment can be done at any time as per the requirement of stakeholders. Provides standard format for generating impact report for all the projects. इसकी disadvantage क्या है? Require financial and technical resources to develop an integrated system. Require expertise human resource to develop this operate and generate impact reports. It's difficult to incorporate new tools or indicators in future if the existing tool is not flexible. Next है हमारा do it yourself. Do it yourself. One of the method of social impact assessment. Social enterprises can develop their own social impact assessment tool, which can be customized to social enterprise can develop their own social impact assessment tool, which can be customized to the expectation of stakeholders of the organization. Example: how company have incorporated impact assessment management tool for their SCSR fund spending rate. Or HDFC has also implemented innovative monitoring and evaluation tool for their CSR spend, creating a score-based system for M&E projects. Projects for evaluation are identified on the basis of criticality, which is defined as a combined score of implementing partner sensitivity and project sensitivity for the bank. While low and moderate criticality projects are evaluated internally by the impact team, medium and high criticality projects are evaluated through a reputed third-party research agency. Organizations like Wilgrow, Aspire Impact are providing technical support to the corporations and social sector organizations to conduct social impact assessment. They are also providing training and capacity building support to develop their own customized tool for impact assessment. Social enterprise can develop comprehensive social impact assessment after considering various assessment tools developed by other organizations at national and international level. This model is similar to integrated social impact assessment in terms of its benefit and drawbacks. Next is theory of change. Theory of change is the structured and systematic approach to link activities to their impact. Social change is a composite area of cultural, demographic, economic, political, religious, scientific, and technology forces, which is not a simple process. Theory of change is an outcome based method with a participatory approach which applies critical thinking to design, implementation, and evaluation of intervention. Figure जो given in this chain of result is theory of change. ये प्रोसेस ऑफ थ्योरी ऑफ चेंज दे रखा है इन्होंने. अब देख सकते हैं, इसको समझ लेते. आउटपुट इम्पैक्ट, आउटकम, आउटपुट, उसके बाद उसका इंडिकेटर्स है. आप देखेंगे तो राइट साइड में लेफ्ट में अजम्पशन जो भी हम लगाएंगे, रिस्क लगाएंगे. नेक्स्ट है इम्प्लीमेंटिंग स्ट्रेटेजी जो भी हम फॉलो कर रहे हैं. दिस प्रोसेस डिस्क्राइब how interventions are misunderstood to contribute to a series of results that lead to final intended impacts. This process initiates with the situation analysis and identifying the problem that intervention seeks to address. Next step is to gather the relevant information on input, output, outcome from primary, the feedback from the different stakeholders, secondary source, research, document published by the organization, other published document like this. as figure is processing this funds into एक एग्जांपल दे रखा है नेक्स्ट पेज में देखते हैं जैसे प्रॉब्लम क्या है हमारी malnutrition health problem among children intervention health camp for children in school उसके लिए क्या क्या इनपुट लगेगा हमारा टाइम एंड एफर्ट टेकन बाय द डॉक्टर एंड मेडिकल स्टाफ उसका इम्पैक्ट आउटपुट क्या रहेगा नंबर ऑफ चिल्ड्रन अटेंडेड द हेल्थ कैंप्स आउटकम हुआ हमारा इंक्रीज अवेयरनेस अमंग द चिल्ड्रन एंड पेरेंट्स बोथ अबाउट improved health parameters of children. Contextual factors that help or hinder social change and the assumptions on which it is built can also be incorporated in the representation of theory of change. It can be used for strategic planning with identification of needs and opportunities, intended situation, and the way to achieve the situation. It can also be used during implementation of social interventions to monitor indicators. This tool can be used in impact reporting as well as where a graphical presentation can be easily used to depict the process of change and and results. एग्जाम्पल देख लेते हैं students use toilet on regular basis student understand benefit of using toilets assumption हमने मान ली girls feel more comfortable to come to school प्रॉब्लम क्या है लैक ऑफ टॉयलेट इन द रूरल स्कूल एक्टिविटी का कंस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ टॉयलेट इन द रूरल स्कूल आउटपुट क्या रहेगा इसमें नंबर ऑफ स्कूल विद न्यूली कंस्ट्रक्टेड टॉयलेट्स number of students using toilets number of children who started attending schools outcome increase awareness about the sanitation and cleanliness next impact क्या रहेगा improved health of children developed interest on education risk क्या है उससे there are no power proper water and drainage facility in that area toilets are not maintained and repaired when required by the school reduce attendance of school in the children of the student in related other facility in the school next importance of theory of change in the social impact analysis theory of change can be an effective tool for impact evaluation to understand the changes due to social interventions. In an impact evaluation, the existing theory of change can also be reviewed and revised as needed to guide data collection, analysis, and reporting. A theory of change can support an impact evaluation in several ways. It can identify first specific evaluation question, especially in relation to those elements of the theory of change for which there is no substantive evidence yet. Relevant variables that should be included in data collections. Intermediate outcomes that can be used as markers of success in situations where the impact of interest will not be occurred during the time frame of the evaluation. Aspect of interpretation should be examined. Potentially relevant contextual factor that should be addressed in data collection and in analysis to look for patterns. Next, a guideline and tool for impact assessment. There are various guidelines and tools emerged at a national and international level to cover impact indicators by different stakeholders who are actively involved in the implementation of social interventions. Some of the guidelines and tools are discussed in this session. National Guidelines on Report Responsible Business Conduct. In 2011, the Ministry of Corporate Affairs issued national voluntary guidelines on the social, environmental, and economic responsibility of business. These guidelines were further revised in 2015 to align with international standards and sustainable development goals. These guidelines can be used by all types of business with different size, sector, ownership structures, and owners. These guidelines contain the principles and connected core elements to ensure operationalization of each principle explained. Principle under the National Guidelines on Responsible Business Conduct. Principle first, business should conduct and govern themselves with integrity and in manner that is ethical, transparent, and accountable. Business should have good services in a manner that is sustainable and safe. Business should provide goods and services in a manner that is sustainable and safe. Business should respect and promote the well-being of all employees, including those in value chains. Should respect the interests of and be responsive to all its stakeholders. Should respect and promote human rights. Should respect and make efforts to protect and restore the environment. Engaging in influencing public and regulatory policy should do in so manner that is responsible and transparent. Should promote inclusive growth and equitable development. Business should engage with and provide value to the consumers in a responsible manner. Formation of NGBRC was set up by government to meet its international obligation under several treaty bodies. Companies are expected to rec- recognize and prioritize these core elements and integrate them into their business strategies. So, these guidelines give a comprehensive framework. These guidelines have received criticism for its non legal enforceability. Apart from adhering to NGBRC, companies are using different ways to capture social impact. अब डिफरेंट फ्रेमवर्क इंट्रोड्यूस किए गए हैं वो हम डिस्कस करते हैं. फर्स्ट फ्रेमवर्क IRIS प्लस, देन अपने पास ग्लोबल इम्पैक्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट रेटिंग सिस्टम GIIRS, नेक्स्ट GRI. ये फ्रेमवर्क इंट्रोड्यूस किए हैं. जो फ्रेमवर्क इंट्रोड्यूस किए हैं ग्लोबल इन्वेस्टिंग कमेटी ने. फिर है ग्लोबल फ्रेमवर्क इंट्रोड्यूस बाय मल्टीपल डेवलपमेंट एजेंसी, वो अलग हैं हमारे. तो हम इसको एक एक करके डिस्कस करते हैं. फर्स्ट है IRIS प्लस. IRIS is an impact accounting system which can be used by impact investors to measure, manage, and optimize their impact. GIIN, Global Impact Investing Network, offers the IRS system to support the practice of impact investing and promote transparency, credibility, accountability in the use of impact data for decision making across the impact investment industry. IRIS Plus provides generally accepted definition of impact categories and impact themes and identifies common goals and core metrics set up by theme, thereby providing a shared language for describing, assessing, communicating, and ultimately comparing impact performance. Since most of the impact investors focus on social development goals for their social interventions. IRIS has developed core metric set and catalog of metrics which are aligned to social development goals. It measures impact through impact management project based on 5 dimensions as shown in table. Who, how much, what, contributions and risk. For who, definition है, who experience the effect and how undeserved are they in relation to the outcome. Data categories, stakeholders type, geography of boundaries, baseline level of outcome, stakeholder categories, how much of effort in their time period, number of people experiencing the outcome, depth, degree of change experienced by the stakeholder, duration, time period for which the stakeholder experienced the outcome, what outcomes the experiences contribute to and how important the outcomes are, outcome level in period, outcome threshold, SDG importance of outcome to stakeholders. Next है contribution. How does the effect compare to what would likely to occur anyway? Depth analysis क्या है? An enterprise contribution to depth of an outcome by factoring in the estimated degree of change that would have otherwise happened. Duration. An enterprise contribution to duration of an outcome by factoring in the estimated duration that the outcome would have otherwise been ensured. Risk. Which risk factors are significant? How likely it is that the outcome is different? Data categories. The type of impact is typically described using one of the 10 risk factors: evidence risk, external risk, education risk, stakeholder participant risk, drop off risk, unexpected impact risk, efficiency risk, contribution risk, alignment risk, and enduring risk. To assess effect of investment, core metrics can describe key impact performance indicators which are explained in this एक साइड दे रखी है उस पर हम देख सकते हैं. नेक्स्ट है हमारा GIRS, ग्लोबल इम्पैक्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट रेटिंग सिस्टम, is a comprehensive and transparent system for assessing the social and environmental impact of developed and emerging market companies and funds with the rating and analytics approach analogs to Morningstar investment ranking and capital IQ investment analysis. GIRS assess the social and environmental impact. यहाँ से क्वेश्चन आ सकता है कि JIRS क्या assess करता है? Social and second environmental impact and practice of companies and fund using rating methodology that has been used by हाँ हाँ that has been used by 6,000 companies. It is an online assessment tool which offers both the company and the fund impact rating. It issues a composite score of social and environmental performance which can help company to earn incremental positive points. These ratings can be comparable across companies and fund sizes. Details of the rating system are available at GIRS website. Global Reporting Initiative is an international non-profit organization which was established in 1997 in partnership with the United Nations Environment Programme. Sustainability reporting standards have been developed to enhance transparency and accountability of economic, environmental, and social performance of the organization. It also offers a comprehensive sustainable reporting framework. These standards are available for all types of organizations from different sectors, which allows them to report their impact in a credible way. This can help the organization to develop their strategies and set goals and targets. These three categories under GRI standards are GRI Universal Standards, GRI Sector Standards, GRI Topical Standards. GRI are universal standards which are applicable for all organizations, describe critical concept, process to use this standard, detail of organization policies and activities and process to use sector and topic standards. GRI sector standards are developed for 40 sectors like agriculture, oil, gas, and so on. Explain sector characteristics, sector specific impact, and disclosure. GRI topic standards contain disclosure related to specific topics like health, safety, and tax, waste management, etc. 7.4.3 Framework introduced by Multilateral Development Agency UNGC. इसमें हमें 10 प्रिंसिपल्स दिए हैं, हम यहाँ पे डिस्कस कर रहे हैं. यूनाइटेड नेशन ग्लोबल कम्पैक्ट ऑफर्स कंपनीज टू अलाइन देयर स्ट्रेटेजी इन ऑपरेशन विद 10 प्रिंसिपल्स कवरिंग ह्यूमन राइट्स, लेबर, एनवायरनमेंट, एंटी करप्शन and guides companies in achieving social development goals. Over 9500 companies, 9,500 companies, and 300 non-business signatories from over 160 countries are associated with UNGC. UNGC derives its principle from the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the International Labour Organization Declaration on Fundamental Principles and Rights at Work, the Rio Declaration on Environment and Development, and the United Nations Convention Against Corruption. बॉक्स 7.1 में कुछ प्रिंसिपल्स दे रखे हैं, पूरे के पूरे 10 प्रिंसिपल्स हैं. हमें इन पर हम देख लेते हैं. फर्स्ट प्रिंसिपल क्या है? बिजनेस शुड सपोर्ट एंड रिस्पेक्ट द प्रोटेक्शन ऑफ इंटरनेशनली प्रोक्लेम्ड ह्यूमन राइट्स. सेकंड, मेक श्योर दैट दे आर नॉट कॉन्फ्लिक्ट इन ह्यूमन राइट्स. थर्ड प्रिंसिपल लेबर से रिलेटेड. Business should be uphold the freedom of associated and effective recognition of the right to the collective bargaining. Fourth, elimination of all forms of force and compulsory labor. Fifth, effective abolition of child labor. Elimination of discrimination in respect of employees and occupation. Business should support a precautionary approach to environmental challenges, undertake initiatives to promote greater environmental responsibility, and encourage the development and diffusion of environment-friendly technologies. Last, anti-corruption related, a business should work against corruption in all its forms, including extortion and bribery. In India, Global Compact Network India was formed in 2003 and registered as a non-profit society to function as the local network of the Global Compact. New York giving membership to over 500 leading business and non-business participated in India. Framework for impact funders with operations in India. Omidyar Network. Omidyar Network is a social change venture which invests in the social enterprise working towards strengthening the community. They partner with funders, advocates, scholars, business innovators, and others in the development areas. Omidyar has made investment in the areas like education, digital society, technology, financial inclusion, and sustaining cities. In order to ensure accountability of this organization and impact created by this investment, Omidyar Network has developed its own impact measurement tool. This tool captures two levels: that impact that includes reach, number of people impacted, depth and inclusion, percentage of customer from the bottom 60% of India become income distribution. Second has sector impact that comprise imitators. Imitators is organization have replicated or adapted the investing model follow on capital raised. Contribution to impactful ecosystem changes. They aggregate the result obtained across all industries and assess progress at the level of their initiative. Their strategic pillars as an organization as a whole to capture portfolio impact. Avishkar. Avishkar India Micro Venture Capital Fund was started in 2001 with the vision to provide leadership in rural and underserved regions of India. It focused on encouraging and incentivizing aspiring entrepreneurs to launch business and demonstrate to investors that profit and positive social change should be generated at the same time with their model. AMBCF assesses the business model prior to investment not only in terms of profitability but also with the potential social impact. Investments are made only if investors' business model meet with the following criteria with respect to social change. The company products or service must impact those living in rural and undeserved India. The company's product or service must reduce the direct or indirect cost of the targeted populace which they would have otherwise incurred while assessing which basic services. Use of company products must result in improvement in yield efficiency that translates into increased income or the targeted population. The operation of the company must provide increased employment in a geography where limited employment opportunity exists before. The business must result in the creation of a transparent and more efficient distribution chain, resulting in better income for rural producers. Today, with number of companies under Avishkar Group like Orohan, Avishkar Capital, Avishkar Foundation, Intel Cap, they are making investment in various sectors like agriculture, livelihood, climate change, clean energy, financial services, gender and inclusion, healthcare, water and sanitation. These investments are made with focus on its alignment of environment, social and governance practice. Indian Social Responsibility Network. The Indian Social Responsibility Network is a platform created for professionals from diverse sectors to channelize their service to underserved society. It provides services like capacity building, research, implementation of development projects, and offer membership to companies and voluntary organizations. It allows companies and social organizations to network, share their knowledge and resources. This platform can be used to develop and share effective impact measurement tool across different types of organizations, understanding CSR requirement of companies and social interventions of voluntary organizations. Impact reporting. Social impact from a beneficiary perspective is inherently difficult to measure because it cannot be readily expressed in terms monetary terms से हम impact reporting को measure नहीं कर सकते. This does not, however, imply that all forms of social impact are equally difficult to measure or that efforts to standardize the measurement of social impact are bound to fail. For instance, delivering emergency relief and basic service in sanitation, water, and housing is easier to measure than impact on public policy or on good governance. Freedom and rights. Societal transformation, such as improving human rights or democratic conditions, involve multiple actors and causal mechanisms that are still poorly understood. In such cases, it is recommended that it cannot it can still be useful to try to measure what an organization is doing, whether its strategies are working to influence societal change. Types of impact reporting. Impact reporting is communicating the difference made by organization or the social change to the stakeholders. Impact reporting can be in the form of an independent impact report, a part of an annual report, or sustainability report. The format and contents of the impact report depends on the objective of conducting social impact assessment. Time and resources are available for social impact assessment and stakeholders for whom the report is documented. For instance, the social impact assessment is conducted due to regulatory mandates. Then the report will be prepared based on the guidelines laid down by government. If social impact assessment is conducted for a single program or a project for internal requirement of the organization, then the impact report can be independent report or an finding can also be included in the annual report. Reporting impact to stakeholders can help the organization in following ways. First, reporting impact of the stockholder to stockholders. It can help the organization from reviewing impact against vision and goals set by the organization, creating learning organization where people focus on results and adapt and improve services, encouraging employees, volunteers, board members through celebrating achievement, building trust and credibility among various stakeholders, and sharing lessons, challenges, and success stories with organizations working on the same social cause or have similar social interventions. As discussed, social impact assessment can be carried out using different tools and methodologies. An organization tracking and monitoring social impact assessment on a regular basis can show the impact over a long period of time with trends. An organization using the theory of change method can express impact in terms of map showing input, output, or outcome and impact. Impact can also be documented in terms of compiling success stories or case studies. Generally, used format for impact reporting is detailed qualitative report covering objective, scope, data collection, and analysis of the impact assessment. Direct impact on target community. Direct impact will imply changes seen as a result of interventions in the intended target group, who are also the key stakeholders of a program, project, activity. Direct impacts are material, critical to the account, the performance of the stock exchange, the social stock exchange, and link it to its social intent. Direct impacts are seen in the immediate time frame and cannot be excluded in the impact report. Each taxonomic classification will guide the set of indicators to capture direct impact, and these indicators should get included in the impact scorecard. Evidence gathering of impact indicators will be a crucial component of the social audit plan. The other important term here is the target community. Every non-profit organization and social enterprise will have an area of intervention where the program, project, activity is to be implemented. The target community will be mentioned, established by the non-NPO and public social enterprise. Systematic impact of the many social changes NPO as she addresses some interventions extend beyond one specific target group and geography or across discipline. In such an intervention, the resultant change and the intended effect will not be on one target group or beneficiaries, but at the system levels. It is a system-wide or systematic impact. System impact will take a medium or long-term intervention to reach its logical conclusion. Thus, in an impact report, it will be an easy to see the past performance trend to stock exchange to see the progress on systematic impact. An example of systematic impact is the passing of the Right to Information Act, which empowered citizens to demand transparency and accountability from government institutions. Aruna Rai and Majum Kisan Shakti Singhan were instrumental in this. Another example will be training and capacity development intervention for teachers with the diet institution diet का जो exam होता है. The intended outcome is to impact change in the instruction methodology, thereby impacting the learning level of student. Some other examples of systematic impact are education department managers have 21st century leadership skills. Teacher education focus on 21st century skills. Component of impact reporting. Finding of social impact assessment can be used for organization internal purposes or for discussion with different stakeholders. Final report on social impact assessment should include qualitative, quantitative, and financial aspects to provide a comprehensive picture of social value created by the organization to various stakeholders. The report should also be as short as possible while meeting principles of transparency and materiality, while which stakeholders should be interested in reading and should get quick required information. Component of the social impact assessment report. First, हम डिस्कस करेंगे क्या रिपोर्ट में क्या क्या होता है. An executive summary aimed at all the stakeholders. Information about the organization, its vision, mission, key stakeholders, and activities. Description of the scope of the social impact assessment. Detail of the stakeholder investment, method of data collection. In case of quantitative or monetary approach, detail of the calculation, discussion of any estimates and assumptions. Impact map, theory of change map. Any assumptions and limitation of the analysis. An audit trial for decision making, including which stakeholders, outcome, or indicator were included and which were not any rational for each of the decision. Building impact scorecard evaluation criteria using key metrics. As chapter mentioned, see 7.2 box. Past and analysis and case studies or quotes from participants that illustrate video finding. The annual impact report typically from a dual role, that is, first a prepared trend analysis of the FCPCE performance. Second, provide a baseline and midline over successive years. Past performance trends are applicable for ongoing programs, projects, activities, and crucial to be covered in SIA reporting. The past performance trend helps the management to introspect, tweak its practice and project management skills so as to optimize its output and impact. A positive trend will also imply that the target population is being positively impacted further. These trends are helpful in attracting potential investment. Along with positive changes or efforts, it is crucial to report even negative impacts of the crucial interventions. In order to reduce the adverse effect in the future, it can include future recommendations or modification based on the same. For example, if the performance trend dip, the for-profit social enterprise of the non-profit organization will be accountable for the same. The cause of a dip in impact or inability to reach the target may be internal or external. Reason causes for underachievement also need to be reported. After NPO and FPE have listed their securities on social stock exchange, they will have to produce an annual impact report. Detail are discussed हम डिस्कस करें चैप्टर 9 में फॉर इम्पैक्ट रिपोर्टिंग सोशल ऑडिट स्टैंडर्ड इशूड बाय एसओ टू बी दैट विद दिस एक्सप्रेस डिस्कस चैप्टर जो हम चैप्टर 6 में डिस्कस कर चुके हैं. ये आप देखेंगे 7.2 में कुछ सैंपल दे रखे हैं, इसको आप देख लेंगे, बुक्स में देख सकते हैं आप सैंपल किस किस तरीके से डायरेक्ट इम्पैक्ट है, इंडिकेटर रिलेटेड टू सेक्टर वाइड इम्पैक्ट है, health indicators related to direct impact. Health sector organization could have two kinds of program: clinical service, community care service. Indicator related to sector wide impact, education. ये हमें उन्हें ना सैंपल दे रखे हैं सोशल परफॉर्मेंस इन ये हेल्थ से रिलेटेड है, लाइवलीहुड है तो कैसे कैसे है, एजुकेशन से रिलेटेड है तो कैसे है। इशू और चैलेंज इन द कंडक्टेड सोशल इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट, लैक ऑफ स्टैंडर्ड यूज ऑफ, क्या क्या चैलेंजेस आते हैं ऐसा ये करने में। पहला है टेक्नोलॉजी हमारी जो है वो स्टैंडर्ड नहीं है। फर्स्ट, देयर इज अ वैरायटी ऑफ टर्मिनोलॉजी यूज अक्रॉस डिफरेंट अप्रोचेस, it makes it challenges to compare results between organization and program. For example, outcome and impact are used by multiple organizations to describe output in their methodology and calculation. Ackman funds write about its backward ratio as a ratio of cost per outcome or cost per social impact, but it actually focuses on output. Similarly, a contribution by the donor agency is explained in terms of attribution, share of outcome, or contribution. लैक ऑफ स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन ऑफ रिपोर्टिंग फ्रॉम फ्रेमवर्क जो है स्टैंडर्डाइज नहीं होता रिपोर्टिंग का, वो भी एक अनदर चैलेंज है हमारे लिए। नेक्स्ट है लैक ऑफ कॉमन मेजर विद इन सेक्टर। कॉमन मेजर जैसे लाइक अ फ्यू ऑर्गेनाइजेशन कंसीडर कॉस्ट इफेक्टिवनेस, few consider benefit cost ratio, few organization consider qualitative approach, few quantitative approach. This makes program from same sector में incomparable. अनएवेबिलिटी, एक्यूरेट और रिलायबल डाटा, जिस डाटा के बेस पे हम अपनी रिपोर्ट देते हैं वो एक्यूरेट नहीं है, रिलायबल नहीं है, जो भी हम डाटा सैम्पलिंग करते हैं वो सही नहीं है। लाइक एग्जांपल देखिए, स्मॉलर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन often do not maintain proper database on input, output, outcome, impact indicators. To get a true picture of social impact, it is necessary to get reliable and accurate data on various indicators, especially when data is collected from primary stakeholders. These are chances to bias data due to conflict of interest of the stakeholders. अब देखें इंटरडिपेंडेंसीज हैं, अजम्पशंस हैं। अजम्पशंस में क्या कहते हैं, जो भी हमने प्रोजेक्शंस बनाई है ऑन आउटकम एंड इम्पैक्ट इंडिकेटर्स आर ऑफ्टन बेस्ड ऑन अजम्पशन. फॉर एग्जांपल, इन एजुकेशन बेस्ड प्रोग्राम इट इज अज्यूम्ड दैट ऑल द चिल्ड्रन विल डेवलप इंटरेस्ट इन हायर एजुकेशन or will take up jobs in future, which may not happen with all the beneficiaries. Interdependencies are referred to the outcome of one or series of interventions that are dependent on other interventions or other external factors. For example, outcome of a improved education level through a peer tutoring program is also dependent on family support given to the beneficiary. Time frame, social impact assessment can be conducted for any time frame. Some programs show impact in 3 to 5 years, like health initiative, microfinance program, where some programs show impact after 15 to 20 years, like environmental program related to behavioral cultural change. It depends on the organization which time frame they want to take into consideration. Hence, the standard time frame cannot be used across different programs. Now हम क्वेश्चंस पे आते हैं चैप्टर 7 के। फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन कह रहा है, pertaining to advances of integrated social impact assessment, which of the following is not true? It provides benchmark to track progress of interventions. Impact require expert human resource to develop, operate and generate impact report. No. नेक्स्ट, इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट कैन बी डन, ये आप बुक्स में से क्वेश्चन देख सकते हैं। जैसे अगला है, इज एन इम्पैक्ट अकाउंटिंग विच कैन बी यूज बाय इम्पैक्ट इन्वेस्टर्स टू मेजर, मैनेज, ऑप्टिमाइज द इम्पैक्ट IRS प्लस. विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट इज फॉल्स? फॉल्स स्टेटमेंट कौन सी है? इम्पैक्ट रिपोर्ट इज रिस्ट्रिक्ट टू इन द फॉर्म ऑफ इंडिपेंडेंट इम्पैक्ट रिपोर्ट. चैलेंजेस ऑफ सोशल इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट, फोर्थ क्वेश्चन में क्या कहता है कि इंटरडिपेंडेंसीज, अजम्पशंस एंड टाइम फ्रेम्स. स्टैंडर्डाइज्ड टाइम फ्रेम्स जो है स्टैंडर्डाइज्ड रिपोर्टिंग इज नॉट एन अजम्पशन. चैलेंज ऑफ फ्रेंड्स, इस जो है वही हमारे जो कोर्स इसका ख़त्म हो जाएगा, उसके बाद हम कुछ क्वेश्चंस पे भी डिस्कस करें। उसकी अलग से हम जो है अपनी वीडियो बनाएंगे जिसके अंदर हम डिस्कस करेंगे कौन कौन से चैप्टर्स के अंदर कौन कौन से क्वेश्चंस आ सकते हैं। पॉइंट टू पॉइंट हम एक एक पेज के हिसाब से, एक एक चैप्टर के अंदर हर पेज के हिसाब से जो क्वेश्चन आ सकते हैं उसको हम देख के उस पर आपसे ब्रीफ में डिस्कस करेंगे। थैंक यू। यहाँ पे हमारी वीडियोस जो है का एंड होता है। आपको मेरा यूट्यूब चैनल अच्छा लगा तो उसे लाइक करें, सब्सक्राइब करें, फॉरवर्ड करें। थैंक यू, नमस्ते।